return to the success and growth of generations past, a birthright being squandered by corruption in Albany, and the depredations of an insecure, scheming mountebank posing as governor who loathes both us and himself. As liberty beckoned to enslaved peoples behind the Iron Curtain via American broadcasts after World War II, we now say, believe, rise, and join us. Welcome to Radio Free New York.
All right, welcome everyone to Radio Free New York. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host for today. Thank you for joining me on this wonderful Friday. I'm live here on WYSL from noon to 1. Give me a call if you want to join the conversation. We've got a few things going on today. Give me a call, 585-346-3000, until 1 p.m. Eastern Time on this Friday. And if you have feedback outside of that, send me an email, contact@radiofreenewyork.com. And that's not contact@radiofreeny.com. It is New York, all spelled out. Put the whole thing in there. That's the only way I get the email. You got to spell it out. We don't own the domain for the other one. You got to put the whole thing in. All right. So, happy Friday, everyone. We got quite a few national news stories going on. But before I dive into those, I just want to give a quick PSA. Friend of the show and occasional guest host, Larry Sharp, is going to be in the area this weekend. He's going to be in Depew on the 4th. At noon. He's going to be in Silver Springs at 3:30 doing an event with also a friend of the show, Dwayne Whitmer. And then that evening at 7:30, Larry Sharp's going to be in Rochester at Whiskey River Pub and Grill at 7:30 p.m. So we have a nice outdoor venue, stage, great thing. Should be a good thing to hang out with Larry Sharp and supporters. Also, my campaign, it's going to be an event for that. And also other libertarian candidates like Mark Ogowski, who was a guest on the show a couple weeks ago, and Steve Becker, who is a candidate for assembly in the 136th district. So a little PSA, I know many of you who listen to this show are fans of Larry Sharp, so if you want to see him, you're in the Rochester area, Whiskey River Pub, 7:30 p.m. on Sunday. See you then. So shifting to one of the biggest national news stories we have right now, I don't think I can ignore it. Is that very late last night, President Trump tweeted from his official account that him and the First Lady, Melania Trump, are positive for COVID-19. So it's huge. Markets are reacting right now. Obviously, a terrible thing. I don't wish COVID on anybody, and it's I hope they have a quick recovery and a mild illness. That's all I can say about that. I don't know that everyone has been so generous about that, though. Again, I hope the president gets well soon. There are lots of people who have been a bit nasty about it. Not a big fan of that. And I know the take back is, oh, President Trump's nasty, so if we're nasty back to him, it's all right. No, yeah, we don't have to sink to that level. Even if you don't like President Trump, I do not wish the illness that can come with severe COVID-19 on anybody. I mean, he's an older guy. It can be serious for someone like him, and I don't wish that on anyone. And then we're also getting weird conspiracy theories related to it too. A few people are saying that he's faking the illness somehow to either show that it's not serious, or that somehow he wants to get out of the debates or distract from tax stuff. I don't think that's true at all. I think he might have gotten sick. I mean, Hope Hicks was one of the aides had gotten coronavirus. Apparently, it tested positive for that, and that kind of broke yesterday. And it seems like that's probably legitimately what happened, is that someone got sick. The president's moving around, talking to a ton of people. I don't know if he's wearing his mask everywhere. He said during the debate he wears his mask. He pulled it out during the debate, but who knows? He had a rally in Wisconsin, whatever, last week, whenever that was. I don't know. Time moves weird nowadays, but it's not that surprising that he would get it, because lots of people can get it just being out and about, and he is out and about far more than your average person. So I don't think there's any credibility to that. People are saying, "Oh, it's an October surprise. This is just his way of saying that he's either very strong and that's why he got over it, or he's gonna come up with some miracle cure or whatever." No, I think this is really serious. I think that's why a lot of markets are reacting. I hope the president and the first lady and the family and anyone who's impacted by COVID-19 is okay. I hope they have mild cases, and I wish them the best of health. Even if I disagree on their policies, I'm not gonna wish death or suffering on the president and anyone who's doing that. I think is sinking to a level that is shameful in modern politics. It's really disgusting. And kind of related to that, I saw a news story come out earlier, well, I think it was earlier this week, talking about political violence and whether or not Americans, Republicans, Democrats, anyone else, think that political violence is justified if in order to stop the other side, or to advance political goals. That was what the question was, is how much do you feel it's justified for your party to use violence in advancing political goals? And things are starting to unravel over the last couple of years. The number of people who say that political violence is acceptable, again, the question is, how much do you feel it is justified for your party to use violence in advancing political goals? The options were never justified, a little justified, a moderate amount justified, a lot justified, and a great deal justified. And, for me, I'm coming from, the Libertarian Party perspective, which says that, there's actually a pledge for the Libertarian Party. There's a pledge that we have, and every member of the Libertarian Party signs this when you sign up for the National Party. Relates to the non-aggression principle. And so that pledge basically says that you will not... Actually, no, I got the right thing right in front of me. I hereby certify that I do not believe in or advocate the initiation of force as a means of achieving political or social goals. That's what the Libertarian Party commits to. The Libertarian Party says, no, violence isn't justified in order to advance politics or to advance social goals. None at all. And to be clear, violence is used right now to advance political and social goals through the government. That's what the government is. The government uses violence and coercion and force to advance the social goals of whoever wins. But it's considered legitimate in that case. It's the government is given a legitimate, quote unquote, legitimate monopoly on violence because people win the election. So that means that if you want to enforce the war on drugs or your social views or economic views, that the government can use violence and coercion against you for not paying your taxes or not following regulations or not following the laws. And sometimes that's fine. Sometimes we want that because we don't want people hurting others or taking their stuff. That's it's not okay. And sometimes the government needs to step in and say, all right, if you're going to kill someone or you have killed someone, the government can use violence to bring that person to justice. Fair enough. That's what it's for. The Libertarian Party says, no, we won't do that. We won't initiate violence as a means of achieving political or social goals, of trying to manipulate the economy, of trying to enforce social ideology, prohibitions on marriage, on relationships between consenting adults, and that's, again, consenting adults is the important part, on use of substances like marijuana. No, it's, again, not necessarily a good thing. Just don't believe that the government should use violence to achieve the political goals of making sure that no one uses marijuana. But now, this is something new. This is a step further. This is a shift in political climate in what we think is acceptable. Maybe others are recognizing that government is violence, and now recognizing that, they're saying, well, we've got to stop the other tribe from grabbing the levers of power, and whatever it takes is necessary. We can justify now, including hurting others. And that's what I see in this poll. We'll talk more about that coming up here after the break. Here on Radio Free New York. Talk to you in a few.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Escape from the everyday to a getaway at Woodcliff Hotel and Spa. Woodcliff features elegantly appointed accommodations, creative cuisine, themed suites, full-service spa Elan, and is Rochester's best venue for outdoor wedding receptions overlooking the city skyline. Woodcliff Hotel and Spa, where the experience is extraordinary. Located in Fairport, call 585-381-4000 or visit woodcliffhotelspa.com.
A reminder from Abate Monroe County. American bikers aim toward education. Distracted driving is dangerous, so pull over and eat. Don't try to read your mail and newspaper, and stay off your cell phone. Make a mental note to be more alert, making it a habit to expect the unexpected. Remember to look twice. Save a life. Train yourself to watch for motorcycles which are harder to see. Join Abate, and your family will be protected with a free $4,000 accident policy. Ride safe. Ride free. Ride often. Abate. If you ride with us. Google Abate Monroe County.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
You're listening to Radio Free New York.
Welcome back to Radio Free New York. Thank you so much for joining us today. Kevin Wilson, your host for today. Appreciate everyone who is listening here on WSL, noon to 1. We're live again. Give me a call, 585-346-3000. Would love to hear your reactions to both of these stories, which are the President Trump contracting COVID-19 and the rise of people saying it's acceptable to use violence to advance their political goals nowadays. Give us a call, 585-346-3000. But of course, shout out to all of our other friends who are listening as well, to our friends on the line, WACK out in Newark and WENY, The Patriot, down in the Southern Tier. You guys rock. And of course, our friends online who are commenting in with this, our friends on Facebook, which our video's back up today, so it's a good thing. Our friends on Radio Free New York page, Andrew C. Hollister, YouTube, Twitter, all those. Thank you for listening. We're getting comments in from Kirk, says there's absolutely no justification for political violence. Yeah, no, I mean, I kind of agree. Uh, again, that's part of the foundational belief of my political ideology is that just because a group of people get together and say, well, yes, it's okay to use violence against others because there's more of us. No, that's not how that works. And it's if we want to continue to have a functioning republic, we need to kind of, bring together the idea that individual liberties should be protected, that neither the state nor individuals can use violence against peaceful people who are not hurting others. That's it. That's the foundation of the belief that if you are not hurting others, you cannot use violence against them, or you cannot initiate violence against them. If someone's hurting someone, yeah, go ahead and intervene. That's what the state's for, and that's what individuals can intervene to some extent if someone's getting hurt. Yeah, totally justified. But no, I mean the level of acceptability of this violence is rising. Another comment from Drew says, let's see, BLM doesn't seem to be a political movement, but the force to stop them is all supportive of the Republican Party. Drew, I don't know what you mean by that, buddy. Give me some more comment. Give some context to that. All right, so let's talk about what the numbers are, right? Let's talk about when I say that using violence to advance political goals is on the rise, what do I mean? And this is a survey conducted by YouGov and the Voter Study Group. I'll post a link in the comments so you can see what I'm looking at. If you're listening online, if you're not listening online, you're just gonna have to believe me. But you can look it up later if you want. They started doing this survey, or this survey at least goes back to 2017. Sample size is 5,900 respondents. Margin of error 1.53%. It's all legit sample. I'm looking at a Politico article for it. But in 2017, 8% of Democrats and 8% of Republicans said that some level of violence is fine. So this is 8% who said a little or a moderate amount, a lot, or a great deal. So it's everyone who said more than no, this is never justified to use violence to advance political goals. 8%. Fairly low. 2018, 13% of Democrats say a little violence, at least a little violence, is justified. 11% of Republicans say the same. 2019, December 2019, 16% of Democrats say a little is justified. 15% of Republicans say a little is justified. June 1st of this year, 30% of Democrats and 30% of Republicans say that a little violence, at least a little violence, is justified to advance political goals. September 2020, 33% of Democrats and 36% of Republicans say that some level of violence is justified to advance political goals. This is a very serious sign of a sick republic. Again, partisanship getting so out of control that people are starting to think, well, maybe I should act violently in order to stop the other side or to advance my goals. And usually it's framed as stopping the other side. This is not a sign of a healthy, functioning government. This is, and I don't know if it's going to get worse, after the debate. I feel like in a lot of ways the debate was, as much as people didn't like, some people didn't like, a lot of people didn't like the shouting that went on in the debate. I think that's a bit of a reflection of us, of all of us, of how many people are reacting and responding and participating in politics nowadays. And it actually gets worse because so this is just anyone who said something. So maybe some people said a little bit of violence, and I don't know exactly what they mean by that. I can't go back and ask these folks. But I'll read a quote from the article now. It says, there's an even larger increase in the share of both Democrats and Republicans who believe there would be either a lot or a great deal of justification for violence if the party were to lose in November. The share of Republicans seeing substantial justification for violence if their side loses jumped from 15% in June of 2020 to 20% in September of this year, so just a month ago. Share of Democrats jumped from 16 to 19%. So 19% of Democrats and 20% of Republicans say that either a lot or a great deal of violence could be justified if their party were to lose in November. No, that's not how we do that. That's not how we keep a constitutional republic. We cannot fall into that trap. We need... And again, I think part of this is a symptom of having a government with too much power. I think that people do see, how much destruction can come if bad people are put into government. And I think that, ironically, it makes people work even harder to grow the government to stop their enemies on the other side. But what happens when the other side seizes that power that you've increased? And we see this, again, specifically with Democrats in the Obama era, concentrated executive authority in President Obama. Just every time President Obama didn't get his way and got frustrated with Congress, he had a pen and a phone. As we said, a pen and a phone. So just go around Congress, do whatever he wants. And Democrats were like, well, we agree with him, whatever. And libertarians and independent thinkers kept thinking, well, shoot, guys, what happens when the other side is in power? What happens if the country elects someone that you really fear and you really hate? And people can say that about Trump. I'm not necessarily saying that. I don't like him, but what happens when someone you don't like is in power? You can't just think, and Republicans, you guys need to think about this now too. What happens if the next party gets in power? The Democrats. Well, when Biden gets elected, or we have President Harris. Do you want all that concentrated executive authority? And we have had more concentrated executive authority under President Trump. It's escalated since the Obama era. Do we want that now in the hands of Biden and Harris? No, we don't. In that type of fear of the other side having far too much power in the executive branch drives some people to think that violence is justified. It is not. It is never justified. No, do not use violence against anyone. But it is a symptom of a sick republic poisoned by partisanship. That's where we're at right now. We need to break through this cycle. And the best way to do it is by getting people in office who care about the health of the republic, who are not mired in the swamp of toxic partisanship, and who want to make sure that we can have a limited constitutional government with strong checks on power and a strong system of rights for its citizens. That's how we protect this. That's how we prevent violence from breaking out. That's how we prevent civil unrest. That was part of the discussion during the debates, and it's wild that for the first time in decades, we're having open conversations about civil unrest. And I know this has been going on for months. There's been civil unrest related to the Black Lives Matter protests, the black bloc type of folks who are going smashing windows in cities, and then kind of the right wing type of folks who are going through and engaging in street fights with folks. No, this is a dangerous time in which we live. And again, we need to elevate the type of people who are talking about the Constitution, who are talking about liberty, who are talking about rights, who are talking about how we can move forward together peacefully in building a functioning society and letting people alone. As long as you're not hurting people or taking their stuff, that's the solution here. But seeing that 20% of Republicans and 19% of Democrats, basically the same amount, are saying that a lot or a great deal of violence would be justified if their party were to lose, no, we can't be there. We cannot be there. Jericho got a comment from online. 3 words: non-aggression principle. Government wants to keep us divided because someday people may wake up and demand a revolution against the state instead. Switching paradigm is that would lead to violence too. Is it then justified? Probably not. I mean, the American Revolution, that's what it was. Maybe there's a need for that, but not that I'm saying that there's a need for it now, but there is theoretically a need in which you need to resist the government. But no, I think we're down on a dangerous path, and we need to be better to pull ourselves out of that recognize the humanity in others, and calm things down. All right, we'll be back here on Radio Free New York in just a few minutes. Thanks.
Stand up for your freedom. AM 1040 Avon Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center. Today, we're looking at a few scattered showers, mostly cloudy to partly cloudy skies. Could see a few breaks in the clouds, allowing some sunshine to peek through, but most of the day will feature clouds. Temperatures in the upper 50s for today, upper 50s for tomorrow. We'll start off our Saturday with a few scattered showers, then mostly sunny skies. On Sunday, a slight chance of showers in the morning, some sunshine in the afternoon, then rain late. This is Samantha LaRocca for WYSL.
WYSL Opinion, the election. Second Amendment advocates, let this serve as a reminder about candidate Joe Biden's position on firearms ownership.
If I win, I'm coming for it.
And what is Joe Biden coming for? Well, here's the person who would be the Biden gun czar, one-time presidential candidate and extreme leftist Beto O'Rourke at a debate.
Are you proposing taking away their guns?
Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-47.
That's pretty unequivocal, but since the best predictor of the future is the past, let's let Joe Biden himself tell us about his Second Amendment track record.
I got assault weapons banned. I got magazines that could not hold more than 10 rounds in them. In addition to that, I passed the Brady bill with waiting periods. I led that fight. 150 million people have been killed since 2007.
Well, since half of us are now apparently dead, those of us remaining should consider carefully at the ballot box.
If I win, I'm coming for it.
I'm Bob Savage.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovation should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
The Livingston County Department of Health wants you to know about free, low-cost, and safe ways to receive critical and life-saving health screenings. Health professionals recommend all adults over 50 get screened for colorectal cancer. All women 40 plus receive regular breast exams. And all women over age 21 receive cervical cancer screenings. For more information, visit the Livingston County Department of Health at www.livingstoncounty.us or call the Cancer Services Program of the Finger Lakes at 1-877-803-8070. Free and low-cost options are available for those who qualify. Health providers have put measures in place to keep patients safe. Schedule your life-saving screening today.
Comfort, care, and convenience. When it comes to improving the quality of your life, that is exactly what you get with Isaac. Whether it's a new furnace installation or emergency repair, we've streamlined the process of providing the service you need. At Isaac, when you need us, we'll be there, expertly handling a job from start to finish. That's what matters to us, because it quickly gets you back to what matters to you. Get ready now for colder weather with a Lennox furnace installed for no payments, no interest until 2021. Call Isaac or visit isaacheating.com.
It's the Rochester Great Pumpkin Fest at Colby's Ice Cream and Bake Shop.
$5 or less for any size pumpkin in the Great Pumpkin Patch.
Pumpkin pies, pumpkin bread, pumpkin cannolis, and pumpkin donuts.
Pumpkin lasagna, pumpkin soup, pumpkin ice cream, pumpkin shakes, pumpkin scarecrows, pumpkin teepee.
Wow, that's a lot of pumpkin treats at Colby's Ice Cream and Bake Shop.
Colby's has a variety of local grown apples, cider, and donuts.
And don't forget to take home a grab-and-go meal. 12 homemade meals ready to heat and eat.
Colby's is just minutes from everywhere at I-390, exit 11 in Rush.
Take the short drive drive to Colby's this week for Colby's Rochester Pumpkin Fest.
The historic family furniture building has been totally remodeled. The savings are historic too. Get $50 off purchases of $4.99, $100 off $9.99, and $350 off $34.99. Amazing discounts on Restonic Biltmore sleep sets. Add an adjustable base to any queen mattress for just $3.99. Shop sofas, recliners, dining furniture, and flooring. 0% financing for qualified purchasers. The grand reopening sale at Family Furniture in downtown Perry. Open Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday 9 to 5:30. Thursday 9 to 7. Saturday 9 to 4.
You're listening to Radio Free New York.
Welcome back to Radio Free New York. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host for today. Appreciate you listening here on WYSL. We are live until 1 p.m. on this lovely Friday. Give us a call if you want to participate in this discussion. 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000. And of course, again, shout out down the line to WACK out in Newark and WENY The Patriot down the line. Love you guys over there too. And our friends online who are, goodness, you guys have a very active discussion going on about political violence. Good question you guys are asking. When do you defend yourself against government actions? I don't know, and I'm not sure I'm prepared to talk about that today. I think that's something I need to think about very carefully, especially since I am on the radio. But again, I think we need to take a moment and cool off. Like we're at an interesting position in our republic, given how heated things are, given how high the stakes are, given how big the government is, and how much authority the government has to seriously mess with our lives, no matter who's in power, whether it's Republicans, Democrats, anyone. No, we're at a tense moment in our history, and I think 2020 has been a wild ride. People are desperate and upset and scared because of COVID, because of the economy, because now the President of the United States is sick with an illness that has killed 200,000 people, many of them older. And guys, I hate to break it to you, but the president's older too. So, and again, I'm not wishing ill will on him. I'm just stating the facts. He's in one of the higher risk categories. We're at a precarious time. And not to mention the fact that the president who tested positive for this was at a debate just a few feet from Joe Biden, the other guy who might likely be the president of the United States. Has a good chance right now. He's a bit ahead in the polls, but I want to take that with a grain of salt, given how all the polls had Hillary Clinton almost certainly winning in 2016. So it's either or. Sounds like we got a call though. Rick from Rochester. Rick, what's on your mind?
Yeah, hi. Good morning. Well, I heard the news this morning. Our commander-in-chief and first lady have got COVID.
Yes, sir.
I thought to myself, gosh, it couldn't have happened to a nicer couple. But
oh no. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, let's wish him well. I hope he, isn't going to get too sick. Boris Johnson recovered. But I tell you, it's maybe he'll take it seriously.
So that's your hope, is that if because President Trump and his family gotten sick, that maybe now he'll kind of take it more seriously. He's been a bit dismissive with COVID recently.
Yep. He, in my opinion, now he has not done a good job in leading this issue, and it's a shame. I'm afraid that he is going to do more harm to the conservative message and movement than had he lost the last election. If we keep on the hard line, we could end up with losing more rights and freedoms in the long run than if, he wasn't in office.
Yeah. So you think there's going to be a big backlash, just like progressive backlash, who's going to go swing the other way really hard? Is that kind of what you're saying?
Could.
Rick?
Well, it could. there needs to be a backlash, yeah. But, how far it swings, how far will the pendulum swing, will be a very interesting and important, consideration. Who else do we elect?
Dr. Joe Jorgensen would be my suggestion, but no one wants to listen to me and Andrew. It's fine.
Is he the libertarian?
So Dr. Joe Jorgensen, she is the libertarian candidate for president, running with Jeremiah Cohen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good option. It's just that I'm thinking to myself, it's anybody but Trump. And it's got to be the case here. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for a call, Rick. I appreciate you calling in and giving your point of view. I mean,
thank you.
And thank you. And so, and again, if you want to weigh in this too, give us a call, 585-346-3000. Love to hear what you think and let us know. I mean, that's an interesting point of discussion. As far as the conservative movement goes, particularly if Trump is not reelected, President Trump is not reelected in November, where's the conservative movement go from here? Is the conservative movement damaged or bolstered by the Trump presidency? I mean, my thought is, and I know some of y'all ain't gonna like this, but guys, the conservative movement's kind of moved away from its principles a bit. On the small government principles, on spending, on the Second Amendment, on limiting executive power. I think we've gone away from it. The Republican Party and the conservative movement has kind of pivoted to, well, whatever Trump says, that's the movement. We have to be rooted in constitutional principles. That's where I'm at. Is we want to be rooted in fundamental principles of liberty, of rights, Second Amendment principles, fiscal responsibility, things like that. So it doesn't matter who's in office or who the party leadership is. None of that stuff. Stick to the core principles. Trust principles, not people. Politicians, they're going to disappoint you. and I say that as someone who's running for office too. They're going to disappoint you from time to time. I get it. That's what's going to happen. Try to stick to the principles. Try to hold politicians accountable. When a politician says they're going to drain the swamp, ask for evidence, right? Ask for proof. How are we going to do it? What have you done so far? What can we do next? That's why I ask. And that's not just, at the presidential level, it's so far away, it's hard to hold those politicians like that accountable for that. It's got to start locally. Your state assembly person, your county legislature, your town council, your local member of Congress, stuff like that. Start as close to home as possible. Again, and that's generally my principle. Now, not smaller government, like localized government isn't necessarily the end-all be-all solution for protecting liberty, because local governments can be terrible too. But they are a lot more accountable when most of the governing happens at the town, county level, or the state level sometimes. Sometimes it's just necessary. But yeah, getting a few more comments in here. Drew says, vote for Kev, you'll get to the bottom of this unfairness. Oh, thank you, Drew. Jericho says, hope it swings in the way of the libertarians. Yeah, great. I do too. Drew says, can we all just get along? Oh, wouldn't that be nice, Drew? That sounds like a nice thing. Let's all just get along. I mean, but I do want to do that. Again, I do hope that we can see the humanity in others. That's good. One of my first principles too is just see the humanity in all people. People have fundamental intrinsic rights that government shouldn't violate and that other people shouldn't violate. That all people are equal, not in the sense of wealth or talent or any of that stuff, but in that we have a fundamental humanity, and that gives us certain God-given or natural rights. Francisco says, conservatives have been going further left towards more government. The liberals have veered to the radical left and become more leftist authoritarian. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Again, conservatives are more willing to use the government to achieve their political goals in a bunch of different areas. And yeah, the liberals, I even like calling them liberals. I think liberals used to have a good meeting, not the American political sense, but the progressives, the radical progressives who are veering off to the radical left, the Bernie Sanders types, the AOC types, who are willing to use the government to manipulate the economy and make it harder for us to make a living in the name of fairness. It all sounds nice, well and good meaning, well-meaning, right? Oh, we just want to help people. No, you got to look at the long-term consequences of what these economic interventions mean. I don't care if you're well-meaning. If you are controlling my economic life, you are also controlling my political life, and you are infringing on my civil liberties. That is how the radical left does stuff. And yeah, classical liberals like JFK. Oh, would he be? Yeah, he's in the classic liberal range, I suppose. He was kind of a big government 60s guy, but he was in that range. We're seeing far more radicalism coming out of the Democratic Party today, and radicalism coming out of the Republican Party too. Again, big government Republicans. That's what we are, or not what we are, but what the party has moved to. All right, thanks again for joining us here on Radio Free New York. We're going to be back in just a few minutes with more show.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
If you're looking to market and grow your business, make new business connections, and give back to the community in a meaningful way, consider joining the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce. We're the largest suburban chamber in Monroe County, and we offer networking, education, marketing, insurance, and advocacy. You do not need to live or work in Greece to join. Our members come from throughout the region. In short, we're better together, and together, we're moving business forward. Visit greecechamber.org or call 585-227-7272 to join today.
A reminder from Abate Monroe County. American bikers aim toward education. Distracted driving is dangerous, so pull over and eat. Don't try to read your mail and newspaper, and stay off your cell phone. Make a mental note to be more alert, making it a habit to expect the unexpected. Remember to look twice. Save a life. Train yourself to watch for motorcycles which are harder to see. Join Abate, and your family will be protected with a free $4,000 accident policy. Ride safe. Ride free. Ride often. Abate. If you ride with us. Google Abate Monroe County.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at SimpleTech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, SimpleTech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Radio Free New York.
The bills make me wanna kick your heels up and throw your hands up and
All right, welcome back to Radio Free New York, and I'm gonna shift subjects a little bit. I always like to do something a little bit lighter for our last subject on a Friday. And well, it's not really light. It's still frustrating, guys. It's not going to be that light. It's going to be frustrating still. But we're going to talk about the latest antics of our glorious king, Governor Cuomo, our dear leader, who has full power to decide what opens, what stays closed, and whether or not we can go to a Bills game. And for those of you watching online, you can see that I'm wearing a Bills hat. If you're listening to the radio, you can't see that, but I'm wearing a Bills hat. I'm a fan. One of the few good things going on this year is that, goodness, the Bills are actually doing pretty well. It seems like Josh Allen stepped it up. Stephon Diggs was a great ad. Things are going well for people who enjoy football. It's a nice thing. Been enjoying watching the games. Now, I have a family tradition every year where me and my brother and some of his friends, we always go to the Bills-Miami game, and usually those games are very late in the year. This year it's January 3rd, and we freeze our butts off, and we watch the game, and we tailgate, we have a good time. And, I get that. I get some of the restrictions on stuff. I sort of get, like, large gatherings, let's keep people safe, let's not make sure that one person can get a whole bunch of people sick at one of these events. Okay, sure. Right. But people have figured out how to do these things safely. A lot of stadiums have opened up for fans. And including several thousand fans. You just space people out. You buy your tickets in a group, you space people out. I get it. Fine. That's what people want to do to keep their fans safe. Now there's some buzz earlier this week saying that maybe the Bill Stadium would be opening up to fans next few home games. It'd be really exciting. It'd be great. I'm like, cool. I might get to do my family tradition. I might get to go to that Bills Miami game with my brother and freeze their butts off in January. Awesome. However, as discussions about this were starting to ramp up, well, turns out they can't do it now. And part of the reason why is that, Governor Cuomo wanted to go and take a visit. And see and inspect. They're waiting on a state decision of whether or not they could open up the stadium to fans. Again, one of the few bright spots in Western New York in a year that has been incredibly hard for people in this region is that the Bills are doing well. It would be great to be able to go to one of those games and get a celebrate something that it's kind of trivial, right? Like that's why I watch football, is because it's not that political. It's fine. It's trivial. It doesn't matter. It's just, to me, fun. And now Governor Cuomo needs to go and do an inspection of the stadium. It says he wants to go out. He's been there a bunch of times. Let's not pretend he doesn't know what it looks like. He wants to go and do an inspection, get some photos, look like he's doing his due diligence, and he's involved and hands-on in the process of making sure that he's keeping New Yorkers safe. It's all a show. That's what drives me nuts about this, about King Cuomo coming in and doing this. He wants to look like he's the one who's going to come in and save the day. It's probably going to happen. They're probably going to open things up, assuming that the Buffalo region doesn't have a big spike in cases. They're probably going to open things up. The county seemed like it was leaning towards that way, allowing something like, I don't have the number in front of me, I think it was like 9,000 fans or something. So just a tiny fraction of the normal number of people who are there. And they have been filling up the last couple of years. I had to go to, when I went to the September game, one of the rare warm games I went to last year, I ended up in the nosebleed section. Usually we go, the Bills are stinking, and we get right up practically front row behind one of the field goals. We had to go sit in the nosebleed section that time. But it looks like there's going to be some fans able to come in. But Governor Cuomo wants to put on a show of being the guy who comes in and saves the day. And several officials are calling him out on this. Senate Minority Leader Rob Ortt, who's one of the state senators in kind of the Niagara County, up along the lake type of senators. He says, really, we're operating off of what makes him comfortable, not on what the science says or what the data says, or even consistency with other executive orders. It really comes down to that he wants everybody to know that's his decision and that he's the person making the call. And again, I've said it before, I'll say it again. The shutdown stuff in New York, I think what is most frustrating for average people like you and me is that there's wild inconsistency about it. Again, it seems like restaurants are being punished based on them speaking out, that restaurants are losing their licenses because of political reasons. That's what it seems like to a lot of people. It seems like industries are opening up, not based on what's actually happening in a region, but what Governor Cuomo arbitrarily decides. I heard there's another one too that apparently petting zoos are now no longer allowed. You can't pet animals. Why? You should be just washing your hands anyway. Guys, if you weren't washing your hands after going to a petting zoo, that was a problem before this. You should always wash your hands after that. No, I know. Governor Cuomo's arbitrary decision making and his, his political mindset is that, again, he wants to take credit. He wants to be a hero. He wants to be the king. And now we still have businesses that, again, in this region, the numbers are very, very low. And I was talking with businesses just the other night, and they're like, yeah, we can't have groups of more than 10 people right now. And even if they have the space to be able to do it, unless they're able to do it, in certain outside spaces, they're able to do it a little bit more effectively. But even inside spaces where people can be distanced effectively, you can have good ventilation in a room, you can't have a group more than 10? It's so arbitrary, so ridiculous. And again, in an area where the virus numbers are very, very low. And back in the beginning of this pandemic, we all wanted to, we saw what was going on. Everyone was scared. I get it. We wanted to protect people. We thought that this might be a very, very deadly virus, and it still is in many ways. But now we know more things. We know how to protect each other. We know how to take precautions. That, if we're going to have restaurants and businesses and whatnot open, let's let people take those precautions. Let's build on what we've learned. And if we are going to implement restrictions, let's make sure that we're doing them in a way that's incremental, that makes sense, and that's based on scientific metrics. What we're talking about, we're seeing cases rise in downstate again, and thinking of the Brooklyn area, I think I worry that there's going to be this temptation for Governor Cuomo to take drastic statewide action. I hope he doesn't go back to that instinct, what we did in the beginning. No, going to take this micro approach. Take this approach where you can, maybe just apply that to New York City and not New York State, but make clear, at this level, if there have been no new cases or the number of hospital beds has kept at a certain capacity in a region, right? And we can keep an eye on when those numbers rise and when the warning signs are starting to come about. And that might happen in the fall. I'm not dismissing that possibility. That might happen. We can keep an eye on that and just set metrics. Okay, at this number, this is when restaurants have to reduce capacity. At this number, this is when we can't have gatherings. At this number, this is when we shut down school. Whatever it is, let's set that. Let's make it clear. Let's make sure we understand how people can plan and operate and run their businesses, because that's the most dangerous thing. When people can't plan, when people freeze, that's what can be really damaging to an economy, to a state, and to morale. When they feel the government is acting arbitrarily, when they don't have any ability to figure out their future, and they're scared too. And people are still very scared of coronavirus, and I get it, it's dangerous. But the best thing that we can do in this situation is be clear, be scientific, and not leave decision-making solely to the hands of someone like King Cuomo. All right, thanks again for joining us here on Radio Free New York. We'll be back next week. Have a wonderful weekend for all of you listening to this on Friday. Take care.